Greetings, my friends. This is Dan.
This is Can.
And this is a Candid Conversation. A weekly ASMR short form podcast where we talk about Christian deconstruction and life afterwards and how we're dealing with it in ASMR tones with non-ASMR microphones, so it really is not working that well. And people are getting extremely frustrated and irritated with me right now. And are saying,
you're soft talking.
Dan, knock this shit off.
I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear you talking.
Oh, I'll crank volume up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It can get distorted when you mess with the volume too, you know. So maybe try to talk at an appropriate level.
Because I usually take mine and I go,
I know, and you
I take
mine.
yours and go, Voo.
I know. Okay, thank you.
No, it does it automatically because I'm a engineer and master, audio engineer and master. So, Can.
So today we're going to bring up a topic that you actually recommended, and that was how lonely you are.
Nobody knows.
No, we're going to talk about it's a known thing that men are more lonely these days. And I think it's even like young men under 30 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's mostly like young men that we're talking about here. It's kind of like a health crisis, some people will say. It's like 1 in 4 young men.
Yeah.
And just kind of figuring out why that would be.
Yeah,
there's a lot of reasons that are playing into it, but I think even Christianity is playing a role here.
Okay, what do you think the Christian viewpoint is on this?
Okay, so I think there's a lot of factors that play into this, like, you know.
Analyze me, Doc.
But the lack. So I want you to go back to when you were a Christian young man, right? So we're newly married, and you didn't have a lot of closer male friends. I mean, you did before, and then when you got into evangelical Christianity, you kind of didn't. Think about it. Well, unless they were like you. I'm talking close where you. I'm not talking like you had friends. Yeah. I'm talking about where you can be vulnerable with them, and you can actually tell them your real struggles.
Yeah. It was.
Did you have anybody at that time?
No. I wasn't open to meeting people at that time. I was completely.
Well, you were also very busy working all the time.
And I was invested in you somewhat, a little bit on the side too.
Not really.
A little bit.
We had a small family, or we had our big family actually. It was growing. You were, let's be honest, during that time, you were working and sleeping. Yeah. Because you were working so many jobs.
Yeah.
You know. And I was basically, how many times did I tell you I felt like a single mom? Except for the money was coming in.
A week or total?
But I mean, this isn't just men. I think women struggle with this too, but I think it's particularly men in this. And this is where I think Christianity plays in it. They don't allow men to be completely vulnerable with.
No.
They don't. First of all, they're locked in a role.
Yeah.
That they need to be strong and stoic almost.
Yeah, it's the bro culture that's permeating through society right now.
Yeah.
The Andrew Tates and all that. It's have a stable of women and have, lots of cash and don't share emotions and make sure them women are serving every need. And it's don't get in touch with the emotional side of you at all. And if you don't do that, and one way to do that is not to make sure anyone knows anything serious about it. So through most of our marriage, the friend group I had that really knew me well, knew kind of how I ticked and all that, fell off. Part of it was distance. We moved, and we were just busy with life that we were living, work at that time, and then kids and all that. Because I got married a lot earlier than most of my friends. Because I wanted some of that ass.
Carry on.
Carry on, my wayward son. Carry on, my... Anyway, sorry, I'm singing songs now. No one needs that.
I just looked up and you look like one of those Charlie Brown characters for a second. Your mouth is really, and they're singing and their mouths are really, their eyes are like closed. It was cute.
See, I still got it, folks. I put a little twinkle in her eye. But so I got out of practice in it. And then I had to have this stoic, masculine outlook of, you know what, I experience anger and happiness, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's
and even
nothing more
happiness, you can't show like giddiness or excited.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be like, maybe you're feeling it and maybe you're playful a little bit, more jokey.
For whatever reasons, that's always been oppressed in my life.
That has been.
You get so frustrated at gifts and everything else because I'm like, oh, thank you. Because I don't get the excitement and giddiness out of it.
And I think that you feel excitement, but you don't know how to express it. You weren't really allowed to express it. If you would have expressed it as a child, your dad would not have been okay with that.
I didn't experience it a whole lot.
You never saw it.
Yeah, I mean, you get good Christmas presents and you go, and all that. And all right, But, other stuff in life was just kind of, that's expected, and whatever. Anyways, tangent. Floppy dicking all over here. So, I don't think it just was kind of sheltered in mass. This is the personality you have to have. You didn't go deep with people I knew. I didn't have any real friends outside of anything.
It was outside of like going to church and church guys.
And we hung out in groups as church groups.
So when you would go meet at first, before we go very far, I want to talk about what it actually is. The loneliness epidemic for men is isolation, lack of emotional connection, and disappearing male friendships. Yeah. And this is something we're talking about the younger generation mostly, but you kind of experienced it when you were younger.
My parents don't hang out with other people.
No, they don't really, unless it's family.
And your parents used to, but not anymore.
No.
They had one couple they go with do a lot of stuff on.
But my dad never really did. And let's just talk about it. My mom still hangs out with her friends. She actually still goes out like once or twice a month. But my dad, he never really has had close friends.
If you look at our life together, you'll have, I'm going out with Leah. We can say her name because she's been on the podcast and she's foregoing her rights of anonymity. Yeah. So, sorry, Leah. But I'm going out with Leah. I'm going out with, whoever. I'm going to have a Zoom conference with so-and-so. And you'll have people that you hang out with outside and go. And I'm like, cool, whatever. I don't do that. I did for a little bit, go golfing every now and then with a buddy from work. But anymore, we'll have groups of people over.
You do have, but you're around your buddies like all day. Yeah. Because you work with a lot of them. Yeah. So I think, or are you saying you're still experiencing this?
No, I think it's less so than what it was before. Because before I never went out.
I think the main point of this, and I
never did anything separate from you outside the house except work.
No, that's not true. You went out on golfing things with buddies sometimes with work. You went on, but you did do that, but that's not the point. The point is not no friendships. The male loneliness is where they cannot be vulnerable and real, where they can't share those real deep emotions like I'm struggling here.
It's the old Brian Regan joke where he goes out golfing with his buddy who just went through a divorce and all this and comes home and the wife knew the buddy and the wife, his ex-wife, and she's like, so how's he doing? And Brian Regan's like, with what? Well, with the divorce. I don't know. Yeah. Well, is he all right? I don't know.
Yes. That is what I'm talking about. Yes.
Personal questions. And then he's like, well, you got a new driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You've always had like guys that you'll hang out with. Yeah. And it's not, you should be able to be vulnerable and open with men. But because of the culture we're in, it's much harder.
Yeah. Especially now because it's getting pushed so hard.
Yes. But you do have a safe space with me. But then there's probably still sometimes you hold back because you're like, I don't want to scare her. I don't want her to think, you know what I'm saying? And I think you have been able to open up with some throughout. But I think there generally is, I think, just the conditioning that's always gone on, like be strong, don't cry, be tough. You don't need anybody. You're a lone wolf. You're an alpha male. All these things that kind of it's religious and it's traditional kind of things that are causing. And then there's just this like shame around. If you're just like being open and vulnerable, it's almost considered like.
And it was worked into us. I remember in high school, and it was 90s. So slang words were allowed back then. Slurs were kind of part of the culture. So if you'd be like, man, if a girl broke up with you, man, I'm so, you're acting so, insert slur there, so it was like, well, I can't talk about that with these guys. They're just going to make fun of me. So you learn it from an early age just because it was passed down generation to generation.
And now you've got these extreme, which are like Andrew Tate or Nick Fuentes, who's, but you know what I'm saying, where they're preaching this message of like this masculine, it's masculinity without any femininity is toxic, and femininity without any masculinity is toxic. They're both toxic if you go to the extreme ends of them, right? They can, you don't want to be in the extremes. You want to have a mixture, and men haven't been allowed to have that feminine side, or it's not that they haven't been allowed, because they have it. It's discouraged from being expressed. If it's expressed, there's shame involved. And so in order to protect that, they hide it. Like, it makes me think of, I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but I did tell you about the post that I saw where a woman was talking about an ex-boyfriend. And she was like, when we would fight and he would start to cry, he would go hide under the bed. And she was making fun of him. And I was like, he is reverting to childhood. The shame he had with crying, he had to hide to cry. He's not, that doesn't mean he's less of a man. It means he's got a subconscious program going on that he can't let you see it. And so he hides. And to her, it would have been more masculine to stand there and just have those tears, right? But he had to resort to, it was his femininity or his feminine energy that was coming up, right? First of all, I need to feel these tears. I need to feel it and let it move through my body. And in order to do that, I have to hide, because I don't want you to be ashamed or think I'm not a man, right? So it's coming from, like, women, I think, don't understand that sometimes we're not allowing men to have that space too. We want this guy who's going to take charge and protect, and they're human. They might be scared too, and they need to be able to have a safe space. I think in a relationship, if you want a committed relationship where it's monogamous, then you have to be that safe space for that partner, whether they're male or female, to work through their own triggers. I think that's what relationships can do. And I think men sometimes get the short end of that stick. If we could,
and I think some of it too is that when it does eventually bubble out and come out, it's so foreign to the woman that they're taken aback and they have an adverse reaction.
Well, a lot of times it comes out as anger or violence because it's been, but if you do it before it gets to that point, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I think about the time where we were having financial struggles and I kind of broke down.
Yeah,
in the bathroom.
And you cried. I remember that.
And you were like, oh shit, this is bad.
Yeah,
and
it scared me.
That's stuck of, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah,
now
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I've put her into a situation of fear and trepidation.
Yeah.
Because of how I let myself.
I shouldn't have let her see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you thought you shouldn't cry. Just, I shouldn't have let her see that.
Yeah.
I can't let her see that side of me. And that means in that situation, I wasn't safe for you.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I felt unsafe because
it was a foreign.
It was something unknown to me, right? Yeah. So the solution to this would be to start letting your son see you struggle. letting you see you be weak and being like, I really don't know what to do here.
With our boys, I can't do that. They'll take advantage of that in a hurry, especially the youngest one.
No, maybe they would see how you process things, just like
it's lions in the wild. If they see that, then they're going to kick me off the high post on the rock.
I would say that your sons have seen you do that more than you realize. Like when you get really frustrated when you're working on something and you're like, oh, and I'll just be like, guys, give dad some space.
Yeah, Cal's learned a few new words.
Yeah. But even where but that's anger, right? When you're really sad or you're really feeling like confused about what to do, or, where you don't seem so sure-footed.
I don't have confusion. I can't ever remember being sad. That's just,
Never being sad, even when we put our dog down just not a few months ago?
No.
I saw you bawling. And that was healthy, actually, for the kids. They saw you cry.
I was singing Circle of Life, if I do recall.
No, you weren't. But see, I think like that. They saw you cry. Those are the moments, they're the easiest for men to like show that emotion in, right, is death. And I'm not saying you should go around crying all the time. I don't think anybody needs to cry all the time, but sometimes a good cry helps. But you need to be able to express like, this is like, because it's foreign to me too. If you were like, let's say we're in a situation where you are genuinely scared. Like I get scared sometimes, right? And it would scare me. But I've also learned as I'm going on this journey, like how this spiritual or life journey, you learn the powers within you, right? So my happiness is not dependent on you. It's dependent on me. And it's not dependent on my circumstance, it's dependent on me. And same with all the other things, right?
Yeah.
So when we're going through something scary or stressful, I've learned I can't just rely. Yes, I take comfort from your words sometimes, but I've got to be able to calm my own self down. And so even if you're scared, there have been times, like even when we had to put the dog down, I had to be the bold one and say, it is time to put this dog down. He is suffering, because you wanted to like keep going and like, let's just give him a few more days. And I'm like, no, this is like not good for him. We have to make this decision. Yeah. So I had to be more in my masculine at that time because you were in more your feminine. And that's okay. That's part of a relationship so that you can learn how to.
That's not true.
Whereas women need to be allowed to play in their masculine. A man needs to be able to allow to
carry on this conversation. Find a cigar somewhere around here. This is bullshit.
And I think another thing that's coming to mind is just even when we brainstorm, as we're building the things that we're working on together, something that you've had to kind of learn with me, and I don't even know if you've even noticed it, but like brainstorming, like sometimes I'll be like, no, that's not a good idea. But that's part of brainstorming is like the creative part, which you're not used to being in. There's a lot of criticism in it, not in a bad way, but it's just like, that ain't going to work, buddy.
You'll do it in my introduction to the idea. I got an idea. Let's take
Nope. Okay. Sometimes I know where you're going to go. And I'm like, no.
Oh, you think so, but.
But I do hear you out. But that's the thing. Like brainstorming is like, that's part of the creative process is saying no, or you're seeing what works and what doesn't work. But you're used to just not having that pushback necessarily, And so it's a little uncomfortable because.
Yeah.
But that's how you get better. Then you get sharper. You get even better idea. And to kind of like even close it out a little bit, as I saw a post today, and I thought it was a really interesting point, and I think it's true. It was a Black woman talking about how some people were saying, like, why are white men so angry, right? And she's like, the thing you don't understand is when you oppress people, when you put pressure on them like that, they become even more creative and more, which gives them more strength, more tenacity. It actually improves their character. They get stronger. And that doesn't mean that like, oh, you're doing them a favor. No, whatever the oppression that you're putting on them, they will get more and more creative. And what hasn't happened to white rich men is they haven't had pressure. So they haven't had to be so creative. They haven't had to build endurance. They haven't had to build that strength of character at all. So then they're like, these people are surpassing them in, field after field after field. And they're like, well, the only way they can see to solve this is to push you back down so that you don't get ahead. But we don't move forward in society if we don't let these ideas like pressure on it. And that criticism is healthy if it's constructive, right? So I don't know. I think
it's like the song Black from Pearl Jam. That was a tough time in his life when he lost his first true love.
Oh, yeah.
And he sings it. It's that oppression that brought that song out.
Yeah.
So.
It brought out, that's why I think even when we had Michael on here, he was saying like the art will be amazing through this time. Yeah. It will. Like it will, just because that pressure creates just like, coal produces a diamond under pressure. It has to, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
So these men, when it gets into
these mans,
if they're allowed the safe space. So if you're a woman listening and you're married to a man, if you can have enough emotional regulation to allow him to express his emotions genuinely, which I know that's a struggle. Just even thinking like, how much can I handle? And I know you've done more and more and more, but I do wonder what you're holding back. Are you holding back some that you would like to express, but you are unable to express because you're afraid of me being upset or shaming or any of that? I don't know. But it's something to just be open-minded to like be aware of.
Yeah.
But if you can be that safe space for him and then recognize that you're a team and you're walking through things together, it can make your marriage probably stronger rather than weaker.
Yep.
And it gives him the opportunity to experience his feminine side in a safe place. It's not going to make him feminine. What it will do is just give him that, now he can be a little more balanced person.
Yep.
Right?
True.
So.
All right. Excellent. Candy telling us about men.
I'm mansplaining you. I'm womansplaining you, huh?
Yeah.
So get womansplained.
All right. Whatever, dude. You be that way. All right. nannycan.com. Everything we have is on there. Check it out. The candy jar. Get in there and check out what she has to offer. So much stuff she's been exploring and putting out. It's been great. So get involved in all that. Check out that Substack. It's fantastic. Some deep, personal, emotional, relatable content there. Go up top, 5 stars. We'd appreciate it greatly if you're listening on a podcast. If you're on YouTube, smash that like, hit that subscribe. We'd appreciate that also. And remember, dudes are sensitive too.
Yes. And as we got to heal masculinity. And if we heal masculinity and femininity, we're all going to be better for it. So.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
Preach it.
Bye.
Bye.